The risks associated with drugs and sexuality and violence are greatest during teen years, but what you do now as parents are going to make a huge difference in what your children are going to do later when you're not around. The skills you learn in this course are going to focus on four major ways to help you reduce the risk that your children become harmfully involved in those areas. First, we're going to build character and develop skills in our children. Active parenting skills are designed to help build 5 important qualities of character: courage, self-esteem, responsibility, cooperation, and respect. And you're going to learn ways to instill these characteristics in your children and help them develop the personal skills that they need to succeed, including skills for problem solving, communication, anger management, and also academic success. And by developing these characteristics and success skills, we give our children a strong foundation that they can resist easy answers to life's problems. Answers such as tobacco or alcohol or other drugs or reckless sexuality and violence. Research supports this approach. The Search Institute has identified a list of 40 developmental assets that are key to preventing negative outcomes in children and youth development. And these assets include commitment, values, competencies, and self-perceptions that, if we nurture those within young people and provide them with internal compasses to guide their behaviors and choices, you're going to find a list of 40 developmental assets that I'll put in this lesson for you. The second thing is to build a strong relationship with your child. Our ability to influence the values of children form and the decisions that they make is, to a large extent, dependent on the quality of our relationship with them. If the relationship is mostly negative, they often reject even our good ideas. And they're quick to rebel to show us that we can't push them around. And then as those teen years are approaching, this rebellion is more likely to involve drug use, sexuality, and violence, as our children are intentionally rejecting our values in those matters. And the active model of parenting focuses specifically on strengthening the parent-child relationship, which both minimizes the likelihood of rebellion and enables you to influence your child more effectively. And third, we want to talk persuasively about the risks. Once you've established a positive relationship with your child, it's going to be important to talk about the specific risks involved with drugs and sexuality and violence. You want to be as persuasive as possible in making your case and winning over your child's attitude, because ultimately it's going to be up to him or her to decide what they're going to do when they're confronted with those risks. And discipline here can be helpful, but discipline alone is not enough to win the battle for the child's mind. We're going to discuss effective communication skills in the second lesson, encouragement and self-esteem in our fourth lesson, and the use of family meetings throughout the whole entire course. And lastly, we need to filter out the negative influences in our child's life. You can't be with your children every minute of the day, but that doesn't mean that you can't be a major influence in their everyday lives. SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, it's a U.S. government organization, identified certain risk factors that our children face in today's society, as well as the corresponding protective factors that we can provide and develop to counteract those risks. And so I'll give you a list in the lesson. And then in lesson 6, we're going to talk about some practical ways that you can act as a filter to kind of screen out some of those risks by encouraging your positive influences for your child. So the question is, do you have a spirited child? I've always loved that term, spirited child. Some people say the kids are bad. I like to call them spirited. And some children are just born with a temperament that's more spirited and challenging than others. and that's going to present a special challenge to parents and teachers and others who live and work with them. And spirited children have traditionally been subjected to negative labeling. They're called defiant and strong-willed, or obstinate and defiant. And there's always the implication that something's wrong at their core and must be corrected. But spirit is really a high-risk, high-reward proposition. The 5 qualities that make these kids a challenge to manage, their heightened curiosity, adventure, power, persistence, and sensitivity, are the same qualities that make them highly productive and successful human beings, even champions. And so if you suspect that you have a spirited child, please understand that you didn't make him that way. Temperament, whether it's shyness or extroversion or anything else, is part of the child's DNA. You're not to blame, nor do you get any credit. On the other hand, how you parent the spirited nature can make a big difference in how your child uses that spirit. And the skills that you're going to be learning in this course can be used to help tame, not break, your child's spirited nature so that they learn to use it constructively. It's going to take more time and patience than with other children, and you might want to consult other resources and look for help where you can find it. But stick with it, and the payoff that comes from seeing your child learn to manage their emotions and use that natural born asset to thrive is going to be well worth the effort.